welcome to Synovia's Release Notes video series. This video covers updates made to the Synovia site in version 2019.20. To begin with, we added the first two of the Synovia dashboards that will be available out of the box. These are the hardware, and here comes the bus at-a-glance dashboards. To see these, start by clicking Core, Dashboards. Click At a Glance under Synovia Dashboards. The dashboards that have been released will appear on the right. These are the hardware, and here comes the bus at-a-glance dashboards. To see what tiles they include, you can click the Show All Tiles plus sign and examine what is shown. To open one of the dashboards, such as hardware, click its name. At the top, right here, you can see when data was last posted to the dashboard. If this isn't recent enough for your purposes, you can click Refresh Now. You can also see when the next refresh will be performed here. In the hardware dashboard, this shows the percentage of vehicles in your fleet whose GPS devices are reporting to Synovia. A feature to come is a way to view the source report that created this widget, which will probably be an icon at the top right. When this is here, you'll be able to open the report and see which vehicles also aren't reporting to Synovia, so that you'll have a chance to rectify the situation by perhaps returning a non-functioning LMU using the RMA process. And if you have peripherals, this will show the percentage of peripherals reporting. This is the number of vehicles that currently have their engine diagnostics cable unplugged. Cellular issues displays how many vehicles had events that took 30 seconds or more to report to Synovia because of trouble with cellular coverage over the last 7 days. And its grid has detailed data listing which vehicles had the latency issues, with the highest average on top. Latency is the difference in seconds between when an event occurred and when the server received the data. So in this example, vehicle NS761 had an average latency for the past 7 days of 86,764 seconds, which is of course higher than the set acceptable value, the threshold. This widget contains the number of vehicles whose last event was static low battery. When the icon is added to see the source report, you'll be able to click it and see which vehicles reported static low battery. This displays how many devices had trouble connecting to a GPS satellite over the last 7 days, if there were any. And its grid lists the low satellite counts by vehicle, with the lowest on top. This column states if the count is lower than the acceptable threshold, which by default is 8 satellites. This widget notifies you of how many vehicles in your fleet aren't assigned to primary groups. Note that all your vehicles must be assigned to a primary group for Synovia's core tracking functionality to report correctly. So 0 is the number you want to see here. These two show the firmware versions of your LMUs and peripherals. And this, if you have peripherals, the map version of your MBTs. At the top of the screen is an option to export the dashboard data to a PDF. You can click back to return to the dashboard screen. Let's take a quick look at the Here Comes the Bus dashboard as well. This first widget connects to the hardware one, in that it shows the number of Here Comes the Bus users whose students are on the vehicles with hardware that isn't currently reporting to Synovia. Its detail grid shows the specific vehicles that aren't reporting, their device ESNs, and the number of Here Comes the Bus accounts affected. These two widgets report how many accounts are affected by vehicles not having a valid LMU ESN assigned, and shows you the vehicles in question. These two are similar to the hardware widgets listing cellular issues, but show how that lack of cellular connection affects Here Comes the Bus accounts, the number of impacted buses, and the ones that are experiencing the latency. This widget displays the number of accounts affected by tiers that haven't started. And its grid lists the tiers that weren't recorded as having started by name, the corresponding vehicles, and the number of accounts per bus. This may indicate a training issue with perhaps drivers not performing the correct steps to indicate the tier start. Without that, Here Comes the Bus won't be able to report any data to your parents. This widget tells you how many Here Comes the Bus accounts have students with no assigned stops. Usually, this is something that needs to be rectified by your route planning system. I mentioned earlier that we will be adding a way to view the source report, which for this widget will list the students with the missing bus stops. This graph shows how many Here Comes the Bus notifications were sent out in the last month, separated by type. You can mouse over a line to see which notice is indicated. Entry means the alert sent out when the bus enters the circle surrounding the student's bus stop. You can see the number that were sent out and the time period. This shows the bus substitution notifications, when they were sent out, and how many. Not very many exit alerts were sent out. That's when the bus leaves the notification radius. Next, we added an icon to the Synovia banner that can take you directly to our e-commerce website, where you can purchase new GPS devices, antennas, cabling, and other accessories. Note that this isn't for replacement units. You still process those using our current RMA process. You can access this from any screen in Synovia. It's here at the top right. Just click it and you'll be taken to the Synovia e-commerce site. The site is organized by category at the top left. Our best-selling items appear here on the home page. Here's the URL of the site, synovia.mybigcommerce.com. If you have any questions, please contact Synovia Support at 1-877-SYNOVIA. That's 796-6842. Or you can email us at support@synoviasolutions.com.